So, can we have a real conversation for a second? Because one thing I don't think people talk about enough when it comes to dating internationally, especially if you're an American dating someone in Jamaica, is money. Not because somebody is a gold digger, scammer, or whatever else you can come up with. Not because somebody is trying to just use somebody else, but just because, let's be real, math is gonna math. And before anybody gets in my comments, yes, I am talking about Jamaican men because that's my personal experience. But honestly, this conversation applies to a lot of intercultural relationships where there's a big difference in income or the cost of living. I've dated Jamaican men who have worked incredibly hard. Some of them actually did very well for themselves by Jamaican standards. That was never the issue. The issue was that what's considered a comfortable income in Jamaica doesn't automatically translate into the same buying power outside of Jamaica. So let's just use me as an example. Y'all already know I like to travel. Sometimes I wake up and think, I want to go to Colombia, or I want to go to Mexico, I want to go to Costa Rica, or wherever it is that I want to go. Now, here's the question. Am I paying for one person or am I paying for two? Because if my partner can't comfortably afford that trip, then I have three choices. I could pay for both of us, I can stay home, or I could travel by myself. And trust me, I've had to leave someone behind that I would have loved to experience certain trips with. But here's something I really appreciated about my healthier relationships. We talked, like really talked. We compared bills, not to compete, not to prove who had it harder, but to understand each other's realities. He'd ask me how much was the rent, how much is your electricity, what's the current internet bill, what do groceries cost, how much is gas, and even in the conversation about the groceries, specific items in particularly, so to compare and contrast. What about insurance? And I'd ask them the same questions about life in Jamaica. Those conversations were important because we weren't making assumptions, we were building understanding. And one thing I learned really quickly, you can't compare one person's life in America to another person's life in America. I've had someone tell me, well, my friend in America only pays this much. Okay. But does your friend live in Las Vegas? Does your friend live in Los Angeles? Does your friend live in San Francisco? Where does your friend live? Do they own their home? Do they rent? Do they have roommates? Do they have kids? Do they pay for health insurance? What kind of car do they have? Do they, I don't know, like how far do they work from home? Do they work from home? Because all of that plus more matters. And honestly, the same thing goes for Jamaica. Not everybody there has the exact same financial situation either. I think this is where a lot of couples miss each other. They assume instead of asking. And assumptions will have you thinking somebody has money they don't actually have, or that somebody's expenses are way lower than they really are. Now, let me tell y'all where I personally stand. What I choose to do financially in my relationships, it's my choice. If I want to buy a man a birthday gift, I'm going to do that. If I want to surprise him, I'm going to do that. But if it ever starts feeling like it's my responsibility to financially carry another grown ass person, that's where I personally draw the line. And that's not me telling you what your relationship should look like. That's just the boundary that I've learned through my own personal experiences. And here's something else that experience taught me: the right person doesn't make you feel guilty for protecting your future. Every dollar I spend today is a dollar that could have gone toward my retirement, my investments, my businesses, or building a life that I'm working so hard for myself to create. So I don't make financial decisions out of guilt anymore, and damn sure I ain't making it based upon who I'm sharing a bed with. I make them out of wisdom. So if you're dating internationally, before you start planning weddings, before you start talking about moving countries, creating visas or whatever, signing visas and all of that stuff, before you actually start combining your lives, you need to sit down and have the uncomfortable conversations. Compare your realities, talk about bills, talk about your goals, talk about your expectations, because love absolutely can cross borders. Then I'm gonna throw in another thing in there. Don't just talk about it. Make sure that each of you are being about it and showing that you're about it to each other, because a lot of people can talk, 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 and talk. You see what I'm saying? Sweet tongue ain't no joke. But financial misunderstandings don't have to be so crazy. I still believe international and intercultural relationships can be some of the most beautiful relationships you'll ever experience. I mean, there's a lot of insert in there, but that is not this video. But love is not enough by itself. Communication matters, transparency matters, and sometimes the most romantic thing that you can do is to have an honest conversation about money. So, what do y'all think? If you've been in an intercultural relationship, I'd love to hear your experience, especially if it's someone that you've been in a relationship with, you as an American and a Jamaican. I would like to open up the thing for anybody, but I mean, I think there's a lot of y'all that are on my feed with this one, with the intercultural between Jamaica and the United States. Let's keep it respectful because everybody's journey is different. All right? Until then, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Bye.